it's Michelle with the Redesign Habit, and welcome to our bedroom. Today we're going to talk about a project that I'm going to do. You can probably guess. We're by the bed. There's a big piece of board, so it's not a big jump to figure out that we're going to try to come up with some kind of cool headboard to put by our bed. I've got materials here. I've got two sheets of this board, and I actually think the height is good. The width will be too much, so we're gonna have to figure that out. I'm going to probably use some foam, just regular old, like you put on a chair cushion, and hot glue that to the board, cover it with batting, and then cover it with fabric. Now, how that's all gonna look, I don't know yet. I'll bring you along on the journey as I figure that out. But I just kind of went to Walmart yesterday and picked up all these things thinking I can use all these things to make a headboard. I don't know exactly yet what I'm gonna do with it. But so I've got the foam to put directly on the board, the batting to go over the foam to pad it more. And then I got these different fabrics here, and I don't know exactly which ones I'm going to use or how I'm going to do it. I'll have to figure that out. To put the two pieces of board together, we're probably just going to use really strong tape in the middle to hold them together. They're going to be fastened to the wall, so there's not going to be any way they're going to pull apart from each other once they're taped, covered, and mounted. So that's what we think we're going to do there. And then these, I looked for big buttons and I couldn't find any big buttons, so I got these little discs, and they're just wood. And we're gonna try to stack them up and drill a couple holes through them. I'll stain them and I'll make my own big buttons. So we'll see how that goes. Like most of my projects, this is a slight experimentation until I figure out what actually works. But that's what I'm seeing that I'm going to do right now. So I'm here with an update on the headboard project. And kind of where we are right now is we have cut the one piece off so that when these two pieces are together, they're the width of the headboard that we wanted it to be. We didn't take any off the height. So, now what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out how exactly do I want to cover it. So I've got some different fabrics, and I was thinking some kind of pattern might look cool rather than just wrapping the whole thing, with the batting and a fabric and staple it, tufted, the usual thing. So I've got these 16 by 16 foam rubber squares. And it made me think it might be kind of cool to have a pattern when it's done. So I would put batting on, connect these together, put batting on these, and wrap it with one big piece, which I happen to have this gray sheet, flat sheet. So, just wrap it with something like that. It's not going to really show anyway because it's going to be behind the squares. But what it does do is take away seeing any of the raw edges of wood that there would be if I just put these straight on here without covering this. So I want it to look completely finished when it's done. So this would still get some batting and covered with fabric, staple gunned on the back, and give this a finished look before I start adding anything else onto it. Everybody, I'm here with another update on my headboard. So you can see now that I have got the batting on the backboard, or on the headboard, sorry. And I have covered it with the gray cloth, and that's all attached. So now I have a nice surface to work from. I wanted to talk about a headboard update. So when I last left you, the idea was I was going to use these foam squares, and I was going to cover them individually, and I had them all set out in a pattern, and that's what I was going to do. Well, turns out I don't have a good way. I don't sew. That's my confession for the day. I am not a sewer. So if I can't find a way to glue it, staple it, tape it, whatever, it's not gonna happen. So I couldn't make these work the way I wanted to. When I covered them, they looked loose and sloppy and I didn't like it. So, forget those, not using them. So what I decided to do, I used 2 packages of batting under here and covered it with this piece of patterned fabric, this big piece. It's all wrapped and staple gunned around the back on top of the batting, which is the roll of quilting batting that I told you about, which was wrapped around first and stapled behind, okay? So I liked that. It was very plain. I didn't like that it was very plain. So then I had these contrasting fabric pieces and I pressed them and ironed them to get them nice and flat, and then wrapped those partway around the back and staple gunned them. So I liked that better. You can see the middle one is a little bit wider than the 2 on the ends. That's intentional. So then I had this twine, and I wanted to put some contrast on here, some dimension. So I took twine, just, you know, your basic crafting twine, and took it around the back, the end, and staple gunned it in one spot so it would hold still for me. And then just started wrapping it. And, you know, I kind of messed with it a little bit as I was doing it. And this is what I've ended up with on the 2 ends. So I've got the twine and it's just wrapped around, and secured. Hey everybody, Michelle here with the final update on the upholstered headboard. And we have come a long way from where we started with all the stuff piled on the bed in the first part of the video, and gone through several different iterations of what the finished headboard was going to look like. And like most projects, I have an idea in mind, I try to implement it, maybe it doesn't work quite right, so then I move on to plan B. And in this case, plan C. It did turn out great. It fills the wall space nicely. You can see I decided not to use the fake buttons. I didn't like the way that looked. So I've gone with the twine over the 2 different fabrics and have the same look on both ends and then a little bit different in the middle. If you use sheets for your fabric, which you can find really great patterns and colors in sheets rather than buying fabric off a bolt, which you certainly can do, but you're going to get a lot bigger bang for your buck looking at sheets. Anyway, so I wanted to show you what it looked like finished. It's hung on the wall with little claw hooks that you actually just push into the wall. It's got a little hook on the front and you hang it with a wire like you would hang a picture. So that was a little bit of a challenge to figure out how to hang it. It's not super heavy, but it's very wide, as you can see. Finally, don't forget to visit theredesignhabit.com. You can subscribe to our newsletter there, follow our blogs, and all the other fun stuff that we put on there, free to you, no cost whatsoever. Don't forget about us on Facebook and Instagram. And finally, if you haven't done so here, please subscribe and give this video a big thumbs up. It'll really help us out. That's it, guys. We'll see you all in the next video.